Why would that make you go bald? I don't understand.
Because it's wearing yourself out, and it's the first thing that goes, isn't it? It's like you know, when you say that, right, and it's all about looking after yourself, isn't it, and stuff. And people say if you don't look after yourself, your hair falls out.
Yeah, they do say that, and I'm worried. This is quite late night. We're doing all the moans.
Yeah, but the thing is, saying all that, I've never seen like a bald caveman, and he wasn't getting all the right nutrients.
Yeah, hold on, those cavemen, it's mostly drawings, isn't it? Captain Caveman, and you find one or two packed in ice. Yeah, because they're depictions, aren't they? They might not draw a bald one. You know, why would they do it? Like, they're not actual cavemen, are they? It's not like Captain Caveman's not real. There's only them ones that get preserved in ice once in a while. That don't happen that often. So I don't think that that's any evidence, really. They may have been bald cavemen. But go on, so you think there's 24 hours of stress?
So the 24 hours of working.
What were you doing? What was your job?
It was in like a recording studio, right? And remember Smokey, you know, that living next door to Alice.
Ooh, the blooming hell's Alice, right. Yes, I remember it.
It was those sort of, that band had a load of cassettes that needed making up. For some reason there was a rush on, right, for that song. It was
very popular, as I remember.
They wanted like 50,000 cassettes knocking up of, you know, Living Next Door to Alice.
I can't get enough.
And I wasn't allowed to go home until the job was done, right? And
that's horrible. They should work in shifts, Carl. It should be like, you know, 8 hours, then go home.
It's not like that in these days, though, is it? It's all about, you got to get the job done, right? You stay until it's done and stuff and all that.
You weren't like an assassin, it was only packing up cassettes for...
Yeah, but Smokey, they were big at the time, right? So anyway, so it's either that why I've gone bald, right? Or, right, I used to go to this hairdressers. And like today's hairdressers, it's not just about getting your hair cut, is it? They put nice little gels on your head.
Nice lotions.
They rub your head and get the hair follicles all
something
going.
For the weekends.
All that lot, right?
Yeah.
Which is good, and there's probably less bald people knocking about now.
I don't know if there is.
Well, I don't know, I'm just, you know,
but you think that this barber, what was wrong with your childhood barber?
It was like a little shed, right, on a train station.
I wouldn't want to get my hair cut there. Like, you know, if they can't even afford good premises, they're running it from a shed on a train station.
Yeah.
Why go there, Carl?
Just because I've kind of felt sorry for him. It's like, well, if I don't
there you are. You've paid the price, you know, that if you lay down with dogs you get fleas. If you go to a barber who's operating out of a shed on a railway track, you're going to end up with
a bald head.
Precisely.
But it was this shed, like a shack, right? And every time a train came past, they had to stop cutting, because he'd have my eye out. Right? It was sort of shock and stuff. And there was one time, right, when I'm there, and you know, like, they like to wash your head before they go, you know, giving it a style.
Yeah.
And he said, do you want it washing? And I said, yeah, go on then. He said, right, just give us a minute, I've got to take these cups out of the sink.
Oh no, you had cups in the sink.
There's all cups in there and stuff.
Probably putting out fags in it.
And, you know, and maybe a little bit of Vim to clean the cups.
Vim!
And that would have been...
Vim cannot be good for your hair follicles.
That's what I'm thinking.
So it's either Smokey or this barber that was operating out of a love shack. Someone's to blame. This is BBC Six Music. That was A Life Less Ordinary by Ash. Before that we had The Greatest from Cat Power. This is Russell Brand and me with Karl Pilkington at Six Music. Right, they've left us here on our own. Steph's gone off to some party, left me and Karl here. Right, we can't print out the text messages or the emails because there's no paper. Not only is there no paper in the printer in the studio, I've been running through all the offices everywhere. Like, I found Phil Jupiter's desk, he's getting some nice freebies over there. I saw some DVDs and that, and for a minute I did think, shall I nick them? Right, and I just thought, what are you doing, Russell? Don't start nicking things in the dead of night from Six Music when you're even just standing from the moan.
Yeah, but when would he realise that they've gone?
I don't know, because and also, why would, I mean, obviously now...
Why has he left them? Do you know what I mean? If he wanted them, why did he leave them?
He obviously don't treasure them that highly, because it was like Phil Jupiter's desk, he's got his own photograph around. I'm not having a pop at Phil Jupiter's, by the way, he's from Essex, nice bloke and everything, very funny, he's a good bloke. But yeah, that's how I knew it was his desk, there's some photos around there, and there's these DVDs. I thought, well, if I'm gonna, like, have to find this paper, let's probably go on the rob. Might as well fill my boots. Yeah. Here's one of the worst bits of crime I've ever done. Just listen to this for an opening sentence to an anecdote, right? I was stealing porn from an all-night garage. Look at that. Immediately you've lost sympathy with the protagonist, isn't it? I was stealing porn from an all-night garage.
Is this a garage that the door's open, or did you have to say to him, can you get me them off the shelf?
No, I was in there. This was in a quite nice area. It was like Belsize Park. It was like, and it was probably about 3 in the morning. But you go in because I couldn't steal porn from him by stealth by going, because
but I just thought it was like, can you just get us?
I was in there with him, right? I was in there. He was behind his booth. I went in there, right? It was in the days where I used to take drugs. I was on amphetamines, and I thought, I'll get some porn. Like life was empty and barren. So I thought that porn, that'll cheer me up. Now brightly lit garages are. Everything was so sort of lucid and lurid.
Headache, doesn't it?
Headache, it really did, yeah, and amphetamines as well. So I reached up to nick the porn, because it's on the top shelf, of course, tucked it in my jacket, and turned around, and there was a copper standing there in the garage. Like, sort of, his car was on the forecourt, he was filling up, it was a van, in fact, filling it up with petrol, and, I went, oh, good evening, officer, like that. He'd obviously seen me put the porn into my jacket, and he went, do you want to put that back? And I went, yeah, no, of course, I just, sort of like, without breaking eye contact, reached round, put it right back on the shelf, and I was like making eye contact with him throughout, and he goes, do you want to stop looking at me? And I went, oh, what? And he goes, if you ain't stopped looking at me by the time I've counted to 3, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And I went, oh, and he went, 1, and I just carried on looking at him. He went, 2, and I went, I love you, because I'd seen films like The Doors around that time, fancied myself, oh, right, okay, yeah, I'll be like this now. My own personality just caved in, thought I'd be Jim Morrison, right? I went, I love you, and he went, right, you're nicked. Nicked me, like, properly aggressively, put me, hands behind my back, cuffed me, dragged me off to that meat wagon, bundled me in the back. I was on put me in a cell, left me there, I was on amphetamine, so I couldn't get any sleep or anything. Really depressing, awful evening. So, I suppose crime in a way doesn't pay, because it was criminal for me to have had the amphetamines, criminal to attempt to nick the porn, so I suppose we'll just have it accepted there is no paper. But why has Steph left us here? I feel like we're like sort of home, like a couple of twits, like, dogs die not cars, like we've been abandoned in a car, or we're like Home Alone, couple of ninnies, Carl. What are we going to do?
Though, isn't it? It's alright, we're getting by. We're talking of Robin and stuff, right?
Go on.
Seeing as you've opened up to a little bit of crime, it's like a confession box, isn't it?
Yeah, that's easy.
Do you know when you do that with a vicar in a little room and you
I'm
say,
not Catholic,
I've been up to this?
I know
I haven't done it, I've heard that they do it.
Yeah.
Does the vicar ever say, well, look, I'll tell you something about me so you don't feel as bad?
No, I don't think he does, because, like, what would he say? I've got an interest in the young. He might, what could he possibly say to make it better?
Oh, fair enough. But no, I'm just telling you.
That's how it works anyway, Carl.
No, I just wondered, I've never been.
He's been absolved. He's, like, absolving, isn't it? Just by showing a bit of contrition, that's what it's called, isn't it? Showing that you feel bad about these things. So a few Hail Marys, how's your fathers? Or our fathers. You're clean as a whistle, then you can go to the afterlife with a clean conscience. Like, but, I don't want to sort of sit in a booth with a priest saying, I was stealing from an all-night garage. Also, Father, forgive me, I've been rummaging around in Phil Jupitus's drawers.
Yeah. So I don't have to tell you a story then, because we've,
Tell us one. Like, you're not in the role of a priest, I don't think. I don't see how you could ever be cast in that position.
Alright, well,
but I'd like to hear a story of you robbing.
I've robbed a few times.
Go on.
Nothing major. Mars bars and that. But the one that I was going to tell you about, right, my mum and dad, right, they've moved from Manchester, they've retired, right, in like country bit of Wales and that.
Nice.
And what they do there, it's a bit like the producers here, they don't want to stay there if they can shoot off home or have a night out, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Steph's gone off.
Off she goes, leaving us in the lurch.
Well, shops in Wales, because there's not that many people, they sort of go, look, we'll pop some stuff in the phone box, right?
Yeah.
Leave your money on the phone, and we'll leave, like, bread and milk and papers and stuff in the phone box. You leave your money, and, we'll pick it up tomorrow. From being from Manchester and that was like, what? That's mental.
Yeah.
Right? We used to just go, there was loads of stuff there ready for the taking.
Just took it?
Yeah.
Oh, Carl, you exploited the trust of the people of Wales.
Hang on, you've just told that and I didn't have a go at you?
Yeah, you will, probably because in the back of your mind you knew that you had these abhorrent crimes against the Welsh. My one, I didn't actually do it, did I? I didn't actually, if I come swaggering in here wearing Jupitus's G-string, then you would have the right to point the finger.
Oh, I'm sick of this.
This is BBC 6 Music. I'm Russell Brand. That was Beauty Dies Young by Low Gold. Before that we had Our Friends Electric by Tubeway. Army, this is me, Russell Brand, and Karl Pilkington. Abandoned we are at 6 Music Studio. Steph's nicked off to a party, left us here. There's no paper in the printer. We've been wandering around trying to find printer, find paper, crying our eyes out. We are, the pair of us. We're lost. We've got a text message here. The K-Man, you're a legend. Keep up the good work. I can only assume that's for you, Karl. Someone here from Northern Ireland telling us that they love us. We've got a lot of text messages, but I'm having to read them directly off the screen, so it's very confusing and disorientating. What's this one? I hope will you be in Germany watching the World Cup? I don't know, I might pop over, but you know, these are days.
Tally though, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe save myself. That sounds like quite a test of my endurance. Yeah, so let's listen to some Smiths in a moment. I wanted to tell you this thing about Morrissey, right? There's this girl I used to know. It's another relationship I nosed up. Her mum was like a famous pop star, but what I was more interested in was that her mum was friends with Morrissey, right? And like when this girl I used to go out with was little, Morrissey came round to visit her mum, and this little girl said that Morrissey had that quality that that people sometimes have, that when you're a child you get transfixed by someone and think, oh god, I really want that person to like me. She was about 6 years old. Morrissey come round the house and she thought, oh god, isn't he amazing? He was talking to her mum and that, and she sort of went off and like sort of all transfixed by Morrissey, drew a picture of him, right, and then sort of 6 years old came over and like, you know, showed Morrissey this portrait she'd done of him. Morrissey took it, looked at her and said, I don't like children, I prefer cats, and handed back the picture as if it was there was a critical element to his judgment, like it was like as if the picture had been better, because he looked at the picture first and then give it back. If the picture had been better, he would have been alright with it. It was the fact that it wasn't a good picture. He didn't make any allowances, like, oh, it's a child has done this. Morrissey was a hard man when it comes to judging art, but
is that a bad thing, though?
Well, no. I mean, I suppose it's like, you know, we come from a culture where children are sentimentalised, don't we? You know, so listen, if a child did me a drawing, even if it had depicted me being like brutalised by a fiend, I would still go, that's lovely, well done.
Would you?
Have a biscuit. Yeah, of course I would. Yeah, I would, Karl. It's not in my nature to be abrupt with children. I used to work in a pub, right, and children from over the road, this estate over the road was all full of like these loopy little children. They used to come and throw ice cubes about and cause chaos in the pub. And I used to go, all settle down now, kids. You know, I mean, the other like barman used to throw them out. I used to, oh, bless them. I've liked children. I sort of think they're happy, aren't they? Adults, everyone's miserable. You know, children, don't let them get on with it. As long as they're not, you know, sort of getting themselves into like potentially hazardous situations, jabbing forks into plug sockets, straying into Neverland, asking for Michael Jackson to babysit. You know, as long as they're
going mad these days, though, aren't they?
Children.
It's hard to, yeah, they just run riot, don't they?
I don't know if they all run riot.
No, they do. Most of them do.
No, it's probably like I bet you, when you were a child, I bet you got up to all sorts of rosy cheek caperings. I was a naughty child. I think, you know, it's just in the nature of children.
Yeah, but no, they just run riot, don't they?
They just run riot. Well, like, you know, so Morrissey then was performing a great service, and I think Morrissey can afford to be abrupt with children when he creates artwork of this nature.
So, this kid did the drawing.
For Morrissey.